Lightsticks are expensive and hard. These cost next to nothing, and is that a selling point? I made these light sticks. I know. And you can too. I plan on crocheting every single light stick in existence. So if there's any that you want me to do next, let me know. I love doing this. Today we're gonna be starting with the Moa Bong because TXT is kind of my favorite group. I don't know if you can tell. Also, my light stick chose to not work for at least 2/3 of the concert. So I just really wanted to have I actually made one before this, and this is it's not good. So take 2 of making the Moa Bong. We're starting with the light portion. I did a circle 3 inches wide, single crochet, and then I single crocheted around in the back loops only, and then did 3 more rows of the single crochet. I'm making everything a little bit smaller than the actual light stick just because it's gonna poof out a little when I stuff it. For this reason, I also decreased these in these rows a couple times, which I do not recommend. You'll see why in a bit. Instead of carrying on and decreasing, because decreasing is ugly, I just made an extra circle and then I sewed that on, making sure to sew just through one of the loops to make a ridge to match the other side. Now it is stick time. I made an oval for the bottom because the stick is an oval shape, but I don't think that really matters because once you stuff it, it's gonna be round anyway, so you can just make a normal circle, but I made an oval. So I chained 3, so you increase, single crochet, increase, increase, single crochet, increase, so basically it's gonna be 4 in either end and then 1 in each of the middle stitches. It'll look like this, then you'll do another row of increase, single, single, increase, single, increase, single, single, increase. I hope this is making sense. It should look like this. Then I single crocheted around in the back loops only so that it would look like this, and then I do 1 more row of single crochets like normal. Then when I switched to white, I did a slip stitch around just to create kind of the ridge that is on the light stick. And then this next round, I single crocheted around in just the gray stitches. I think it worked. I don't know. You can skip this step if you want. I just think it looks slightly better. Then we do 18 more rows. Then you end up with a unicorn leg. Again, I'm making this a bit shorter than the light stick. Then I made another ridge type of thing by slip stitching around in gray. This time I tried out stitching through the top loop of the gray and through the stitch of the white. It didn't really make a difference. I did want to add some height on either of the ends just so that it would look more like the Moa stick. This didn't really work, but anyway, in the 2 side stitches on each side, I did a half double crochet and a half double crochet increase, and then of course single crochet in the rest of the stitches in between. And then the next row I did 3 half double crochets in each of the half double crochet stitches. I didn't increase. Then it was time to embroider the buttons. I'm not about to tell you how to embroider because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just left a string on the end, did my embroider, tied it together, not too tight, and hope for the best. The yellow and the green, I double stranded it because the yarn was a bit thinner, and then the blue was pretty thick, so that one I left single stranded. And I don't know, I think it looked pretty good if I do say so myself, and I do. As you can see, the gray part, I would have had to do a lot more, maybe half double crochets or triple crochets to make the height difference, so it didn't really show up very well. Now we're gonna do the X. So I chained 12, then did 2 rows of single crochet, fastened off, and then joined in the middle. So basically I did 12, so I'll have 5 on either side. I joined in one of those middle stitches. I chained 5 to match the other sides, and then I single crocheted my way back down, slip stitched it to the main part of the X, and then did another row back. So it looks like this, and then you just do the exact same thing on the other side. and then do it all over again because you need to. And now for the T, it's basically just the exact same thing, only it's gonna be longer because it wraps around the light. So this time I chained 20, did the 2 rows. Since there's 20, there's gonna be 9 on either side of my 2 stitches. And I join in the middle, and then I chain 9. Then for the other side, we need to make it shorter because as you can see, it's too long this way because the stick part is in the way. So for the shorter side, I just chained 6 single crocheted 2 rows, attaching it to the main body. And then do it all over again for another one. I used pins again to pin everything into place because it was just easier to sew it on that way. And honestly, I don't know, I've never done this. I've never used pins before making amigurumis, and I'm like, why? I've been missing out. Use pins. So nice. It's a bit crooked sometimes in places. We're going for a homemade look, right? So the front is fine. The back is like white. But I mean, the front's the most important, so whatever. After pinning on the front green blue piece, I realized like it looks good, sure. But it would look even better with the double layered, with it being more 3D. So that meant I had to make 2 more of the cross things. Fun times. I just whip stitched the 2 crosses together. I did this, so the first one obviously was already sewed on, so I did it while it was on. It was kind of awkward, but it was whatever. And then I did the second one this way. Either way was fine. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Since I had decreased, this side of the sphere was like, or not sphere, whatever the heck shape this is, was a bit smaller, so the blue piece was too long. But I made it work, it's fine, it's whatever. The back looks stupid anyway. I'm gonna give this 3 out of 5 Huning stars. It's approaching. The standards are high. Nothing comes close. I could go into details on the but does it work? Okay, next, the group that started it all. My first obsession. If you haven't noticed, or haven't bragged about it already, ow. My army bomb didn't work properly at first either. Am I just unlucky when it comes to Lightsticks? This one was obviously the easiest. It's very basic. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, we're making the army bomb. And we're gonna be starting with the light ball thing again. Forgot to mention, everything in this video is made with a 2.75mm hook. I just crocheted a circle with a diameter of 3 inches. And yep, that's it. On to the stick. I did 6 single crochet and a magic ring, and then I did another row increasing at every stitch. Seemed right to me, so I continued single crocheted around in the back loop of each stitch. I did 21 more rows of single crochet normal through both loops, obviously. Anyway, perfection. Then because there's that little like piece that like flares out a bit at the top, I flared out it a bit. I think I increased 4 times during this row, but I don't remember and I didn't write it down. I'm sorry. Then we're gonna crochet this little hat thing. I don't know what it is, but we're gonna make it. Again, 6 single crochet and a magic ring, increase in each stitch around. I then fastened it off without checking if this was a good size. It was not. So I did another round. For the red, I was too lazy to find my ball of red yarn, but I had this heart that I made for a different project. Literally looks like super spicy noodles. 6 single crochet in a magic ring for the red piece. Then in gray for the buttons, I 6 single crocheted in a magic circle for the top button, and then we made another oval thing. I don't know if you remember from the Moa Bong. Again, that's increase, single, increase, increase, single, increase. So basically 4 on each end. 1 in the middle. And that made this little guy. Then it was time to sew everything together. I completely meant to sew the red onto the black before sewing it on because that obviously would have been easier, but it's fine. And I wasn't going to, but I did end up trying to embroider the army logo symbol thing. And look at it, it actually turned out so good. I was so impressed. Like, what the heck? Also, if someone could tell me how to like fasten off the embroidery things, because I literally just like poked them both through the back and tied them together in a knot and hoped for the best. Like, I didn't really know what to do with that. I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 sprites. Actually, no, yeah, I will. It could be better, but it's pretty perfect, and I'm very impressed with my stitchery here. Now we're making the Itzy ring light. I love it. You cannot tell me that this does not look like a fancy futuristic Roomba vacuum cleaner. If you thought I was gonna whip out the light stick for every single light stick that I was gonna make for these, you're sadly mistaken. I'm sad that you're mistaken. I chained 18 and then slip stitched to connect because we're gonna make a tube. We're just gonna make a big long tube and then connect it into like a donut shape. I use this very scientific measuring method. Then I added some stitch markers to mark like the half points because I'm going to half double crochet in half of the tube and single crochet in the other half of the tube. And I was hoping that that would make it naturally curve on its own. This was all experimental, but look at me, it worked. And I ended up with this macaroni noodle. I will say though, be careful and make sure that the single crochets stay in the center of the donut. The stitches can obviously get a little wonky and like go off to the side a little bit. Since the white was like maybe like a third of the ring, I switched to my color. I wanted to make it multiple colors because I think the coolest thing about this light stick is that it goes like different colors around. I chose yellow and the mint blue, green, whatever. I kind of didn't mean for the blue to be that much longer than the yellow, but it just kind of happened like that, so it's whatever. This is kind of the proportions that I use. Then I stuffed it all. I thought it was gonna be hard because I wasn't stuffing as I was going, but it was fun. I was literally so excited making this the whole time. It just looked so good. This light ring has sparkles, but I obviously didn't. My application method for the glitter was to paint on some Mod Podge. I used matte, I don't know if that makes a difference, and then sprinkle on some sparkles and then just mush them in there with the paintbrush. It looks kind of gross right now, but once it dried you can really see the glue and I think it looked amazing. I meant to leave it to dry for an entire day, but you know that didn't happen. I measured around the inside of the ring so I knew what to do for the next step because yes, there are more steps. I guess technically you could have done it like changing color. I don't know. I'm doing layers. As a bonus, I got pretty sparkle hands. The next process was slightly frustrating. I knew I needed 13 inches. I chained this. I was like, okay, that's just over 13. Fine, we'll use it. But then when I did a row, it was too short. So then I rechained it, did a row. I was like, okay, cool. 13, that's exactly what I need. Did another row, came back. Why? How did it go from 13 to 15? I did, you know, what people are supposed to do. You're supposed to do like a little, like a gauge, a little square and like measure your stitches or whatever. This time it worked. Well, I mean, it didn't work at first, but I believed in myself. And once I had it on the second row, it was good. It was a bit long, but that's fine. Can we just take a moment and appreciate how freaking straight this edge is? And I just did enough rows so that it would be like halfway up the colored part on either side. And then it was time to stitch it all together. So I used my handy dandy pins again, pinned it to the center first, and then pinned it all around the side. I think the easiest method is to go opposite ends, like start with top, then bottom, then left, right, and then go in between them just so everything stays even. Another bonus is sparkly pants. I don't think I've ever been so proud in my life, but it's not done yet. I measured around the outside for the next and final piece from color to color, and then from edge of my last layer to the other side of the last. You can see what I'm doing. And then I just did the same thing. I made this nice little rectangle. What a beauty. I don't know if you can see the sparkles as well as I can in person, but it looks so good. I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 ices. I see that I'm icy. Also really good because, you know, you can wave it around and it's not gonna do that. Also, Shang-Chi. Also, thank you for watching. I'm hoping to make more of these, so let me know what you want to see next. Also, let me know if you want me to go into any more detail about certain things in the next video or less detail about certain things in the next video.